Hi. Today I'm going to take you through my Mexi-Cali Corn Casserole. The Mexi-Cali Corn Casserole was originally created by my mom. She had an idea about what would taste good together and mixed those things up, and it became a Thanksgiving tradition. Now I have taken my mom's Mexi-Cali casserole and changed it a little bit, which I'll talk to you about. Some of the things that I do differently is I do use a little bit of Jiffy just to help it with its consistency. My mom's, you really could have just called a corn souffle. It was soft, it was fluffy, it was light, and it did not have anything with flour or corn flour added to it. But in my Mexi-Cali casserole, I start by sauteing some frozen vegetables in butter. For my corn casserole, I start by sauteing some frozen vegetables and jalapeno in butter. I'll warn you now, this is not a health food recipe. Some things that you could do to lighten it up is you could use less butter or margarine or even olive oil would work. But for this recipe, we are melting down 1 stick of butter. And to make sure that we don't turn it into complete brown butter, I'm going to go ahead and add my 1.5 cups of frozen peppers and onions. It's just the picked sweet peppers and onions. Going to help this butter soften up. The other thing that I add that my mom didn't add additional peppers. She just would use a can that used to be made by Green Giant that was corn with peppers and onions. And that was how it became the Mexi-Cali casserole. For me, I'm adding the additional peppers and onions so that it can be a little chunkier. I'm going to get those vegetables all sauteed in the butter. And I also, oops, I have a few more vegetables. And I also add 1 diced jalapeno, seeded and diced. We don't need the extra heat per se, but we want the flavor so that it can really be our Mexi-Cali casserole. The jalapenos are something that I just recently added since we moved to Texas, because the produce here is amazing and you can get jalapenos, anything from the store, just the regular store, not a specialty store. Just go in, I can get jalapenos, cilantro, any of the dried chiles, all of them are available. I'm gonna let that cook down just a little bit more, and that really is the only part of the process that we will be using the pot for. Everything else gets mixed into a bowl and then slid into what you're going to cook it in. My oven is already preheated to 375, which will be the right temperature. We just want these veggies to soften up, to be a soft addition to the casserole. No one wants a raw vegetable, a raw onion, or a raw pepper in their corn casserole. Some of the other things that I add, like I said, my mom would use Green Giant. They used to make these little cans that were like Mexi-Cali corn. Well, they don't have those anymore, but they do have this, the Green Giant Simply Sweet corn, and it has some peppers and some onions, and I think this is even a better option than the cans of corn. So 1 of these will go in. The last time I made vegetable soup, I had a little bit of leftover just frozen corn. I'm gonna add this. And to help with the smooth creaminess, we do add 1 can of cream-styled corn. We will add 1 egg to the batter and 1 Jiffy cornbread mix or corn muffin mix. And to stay on the side of the Mexi-Cali, I also add a little bit of Goya adobo all-purpose seasoning. Just a little bit. It has garlic, black pepper, oregano, and turmeric. And even though turmeric is the last ingredient in here, there's enough that it brings a brightness to the casserole. So I'm going to add a little bit of that. And those things together will make the Mexi-Cali casserole. Looking at my veggies, they look like they have softened up nicely in the butter. So I'm going to turn off my pan. Gonna grab my trivet and let this part stay right here and let it just cool. So now I have my veggies that I'm going to let cool a little bit before I incorporate them in the corn casserole. The beautiful thing about the corn casserole is that it all comes together in your dish that you want to serve it in. So I will start by adding my cream style corn. Let me zoom in a little bit. Starts with the cream style corn. My Simply Steam roasted corn, which actually has little roasted bits that help bring together the Mexi-Cali in this recipe. Gonna let my butter and veggies soften just a little bit more. Gonna add that leftover kernel corn that I had. To give a little shake of my Goya. Give this already a starting mix. Ooh. A couple of the kernels didn't want to go and weren't going to go quietly. Gonna add our Jiffy. And our egg. I love when a recipe is starting to come together and you can already smell how all of the good things are working together. And now our butter and our veggies. You really got to get in there and stir to make sure it's all incorporated and that every bit of that dry Jiffy corn mix has the opportunity to soak up the butter and the egg and really be soft. No one wants a crunchy bits of cornmeal in their casserole. This is already looking good, but I want to add just a tiny bit more. I want to add a tiny bit more liquid to make sure that it's not dry. Just something to support all the things that we've done. The good thing is the veggies will release a little more liquid as they bake in the oven. Doesn't that already look good? And to make it even better, We're gonna sprinkle some Fiesta blend cheese, which is Monterey Jack, cheddar, queso quesadilla, cheese. We're not gonna go too heavy with it, but we want it to be able to have a pretty golden brown cheesy top. I know I said I wasn't going heavy, but I keep reaching in the bag. Almost satisfied. Yep, that looks good. This looks like it will turn into something cheesy, yummy, and bubbly. Let's put it in the oven. Okay, our Mexi-Cali Corn Casserole has been in the oven for about 32 minutes and it looks just right. So I'm gonna go grab it. So golden and brown on top. Put this bad boy down. I'm gonna zoom in a little. Look how it's puffed up. Our cheese is all melted and made this pretty golden brown top. I'm gonna let it cool just a little bit so that I'm not tasting lava, because all the good things we put in there are burning up. While I'm waiting for it to cool just a little bit, I want you to know that the Mexi-Cali Corn Casserole is something that started with my mom, and I adopted it and shifted it so that it was a better fit for my family. Both are delicious. Mine is just mine. My mom doesn't add cheese on top of hers, but everything I think looks better with a little golden yumminess on top. Going to sneak into one of these little corner pieces. Give it a little scoop. Oh yeah. Take a look. Steaming hot. But the peppers are there, the corn is there. Yum. Gonna let it cool just a little bit more so that it doesn't hurt me. Get a little bit of that red pepper, that corn. That's what it looks like. That's my bite. Still super hot. The texture is there. The bites of the corn, the pepper. You can taste the adobo just a little bit. The jalapeno is in there, but it really doesn't add heat. It adds more flavor. And try to get a little bit with the cheese topping. It's just the middle by itself is yummy. Still a little hot, but the cheese makes it. The cheese makes it where it would be good any time of the day. And I usually only make this at Thanksgiving, but I think I've convinced myself that it can become a normal side dish rotation for my family. If you make something like this, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. If this is something that you'd like to try, please try and let me know how it works out for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe as I continue my series of Thanksgiving side dishes that my family loves. Till next time, bye.